నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు అన్మ్యూట్. ఇప్పుడు మ్యూట్ అయినాను. Okay. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Today very few participants. I think they may join after some time. Sir, welcome, sir. Welcome to Sitara online course in association with the Nursing Home Institute of Management Sciences. This is appreciation course for 5 days week, daily 2 sessions. Welcome, Sri Narendra Garu. Please take out the session, sir.
Yeah, sure. Shall we wait for another 5 minutes, maybe?
As you wish, sir.
Because the strength is.
This is the first day. We may expect some more people.
Yeah.
Sir, already you are a co-host, sir.
Yeah, I am a co-host. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. We'll wait for a few minutes because I see only real me apart from us because administrator and IT cell, I think you are Sitara only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will wait another 10 minutes, sir.
I mean, number of candidates is only one, no? Real me.
No, sir. I think administrator is not our user ID.
Okay. So there are 2 people as of now.
We already circulated in the groups, WhatsApp groups.
Okay.
It's almost having 2,000 members, sir. It is.
So we'll wait for maybe another 5-10 minutes so that we can start and then.
Yes. After that, we can resume your session, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. We are, I'm able to see some 3 or 4 people are there. Ms. Vibha, Jayakantam, administrator. So can we see you, please? Because there are less number, can we have a small introduction so that we can start the session? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yes. So I was just thinking that, we'll have a small introduction. Ms. Vibha, Jayakantan, administrator. Can you just introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, sir. I'm Vibha Karve. I work for Central Railway.
Okay. So did we, by any chance, meet earlier, madam, in the offline training? I feel like I heard your voice.
Yeah, sir. Last time, I think I joined last 3 sessions, but couldn't get the first 2 introductory sessions.
Okay.
So now I'm this and whatever means I missed something,
Yeah.
So first 2 lectures I missed.
Okay. So you know something about data sciences and how is it growing, ma?
Little bit. I may not say fully, otherwise I would have not joined the course.
Okay. No issues.
Familiar with the concept. That much I can say.
Okay. Jayakantan. Jayakantan. Okay, Bhaskar. Mr. Bhaskar. See, basically, a session will be interesting if you all interact and use the, what all you use and how you can use can be, discussed. First, I'll introduce myself and then, the program, and then we will go ahead with some questions addressed in terms of the, content. So, this course, see, data sciences is a very, very latest concept. When I'm saying data sciences, this has been, in the last 10 years, has changed the face of the business. When I say face of the business, there's a big change. There's a paradigm shift. Almost, no businesses today can exist without, data and data sciences. Say, for example, fintech is a data science product, financial technologies. This pandemic had created so many issues that, people are, worried to even touch the currency, because we don't know from whom we are receiving currency and whether the currency is carrying any, spikes of or any problems or things of COVID-19. So what people are looking at is, even bankers, they stopped counting the notes with, finger put in their mouth, because from the note to the mouth, anything can go in. Earlier, otherwise, if you recall, when you go to the bank, the cashier is counting the, money, and in between he used to use saliva or he used to use that liquid pad. But these days, you are expected to wear a mask and you can't even use, such things, and you cannot touch, you should not touch your nose or mouth or eyes. So this has caused a problem. Second thing is, let us say if I'm using the currency and, currency has got some problem, then that currency also is a challenge. So that is the reason why we are using mobiles and directly paying. And apart from that, the government also wants all the transactions to be recorded so that, we will have, see the difference I'll tell you. Earlier, people used to not file income tax returns. And then when they go to bank, majority of the times they used to face difficulties to get a loan. But today, the banks are clearly telling, show us 3 income tax returns. If your last 3 income tax returns is average of 6 lakhs, that means you are eligible for a loan of 18 lakhs, 3 times of the average of 3 years income tax return. 6 lakhs, let us say first year 4 lakhs, second year 5 lakhs, third year 6 lakhs, and you filed an income tax returns, average 5 lakhs, or 5, 6, 7 and average 6 lakhs. That means you are eligible, almost minimum eligibility is around 18 lakhs loan. Of course, banks would ask for collateral. Banks are still, conservative in lending loans, particularly small loans, because the security wise, the authenticity wise, there are challenges. So now we are introducing this KYC norms and other things, and putting the data into a store. Likewise, Aadhaar. Imagine 140 crores people's information is there in the Aadhaar. That means, is the data small? No, it is huge data. And apart from that, the data that they have is not only name of the person and the age of the person. No, it is the name of the person along with the age of the person, date of the birth, family, Aadhaar number, serial number, location in which he stays, area in which he stays, district in which he stays, state in which he stays. Because, Sardar Patel Road is both in Hyderabad and, Delhi. I know. Secunderabad also there is Sardar Patel Road. And then if I go to Chennai, there may be Sardar Patel Road. So Sardar Patel Road address, there can be good number of people. So which Sardar Patel Road again is a challenge, isn't it? So when you are looking at the data is of huge in number, and the data is getting daily added so much that you just see something like 4 what do you say, terabytes of the data is getting added on a daily basis, and within a month or a year, that is going to be something like 44 lakh or crore gigabyte data that is there on the YouTube. And we are almost uploading on a regular basis all the data, and you would have seen your kids particularly taking a selfie and uploading the data. So once upon a time, if you try to understand, I used to have in 1995, I remember, a system of 2 MB RAM, not GB, 2 MB RAM system I had. Now this 2 megabytes, 2 megabytes system used to take care of switching it on, WordStar, then Excel, and then I used to type and do my PhD work. But over a period of time today, you have cameras where you click a picture, each single picture's size is more than 2 megabits. So that means you can imagine how the world is changing from 95 till 2020, maybe around 25 years. This whatever was a very big thing in a year like 1995. Today in 2020, it is of no use. It's a waste. It is like a hair, a single hair. So we have transformed things from there to the current, and we are walking ahead. We are further walking ahead so much that the data is going to be so big that we can't imagine. Now, how do you handle such data? What are the areas that people need to look? How businesses should use? Now, utility of this data and the data for the purposes of decision making is what is the important thing. And this appreciation course is to make people understand that, we are moving away from whatever that we were. Therefore, we need to, pep up ourselves, pull our socks and laces, tie our laces, so that we work harder and try to get into that mode and accept the latest. That is what we are basically, looking into in this course. So first and foremost, I'll be spending 2 sessions today on appreciation. That is, I'll try to focus on what is data, what is structured data, what is unstructured data, what is a bot, what is a IoT, what is how they are building, what is the data analytics, what are the importance of statistics in data analytics, what is it that we learn, how do you predict something. All these things I try to explain in the today's session. There, while explaining all this, I will try to use or build the cases where the people have used different data analytics for the decision making, so that we understand the importance of it and understand the applications of it. Now, the second day, our onwards, our colleague will be there. He will be, dealing with Dr. Abhilash, will be dealing with the Excel, and how do you use Excel in the, what do you say, for the using pivot and other things. So I just try to show you what the contents will be. Of course, our Nashra sir has sent you over WhatsApp the details. So let me give you a brief of that, so that you understand not only the title given in that, what exactly the process and how discussions will go ahead, and what sort of understanding is expected. So I'm just downloading the document. I'll share the yeah. Yes. You are able to see the document, right? Yeah. See, how the past, present, and future is going to be is what I will focus. And I'll try to, focus on what sort of softwares are there, how big is this big data, and how the things are changing. And what are the challenges in adapting in the Indian context? Particularly, we are running behind the Western culture, and the West has been, 20, 25 years ahead of us. So how they are doing, what will be that they will be doing, and how we should be adopting it and changing our context, our things at our place, and slowly adopting to change is what we are doing. Now, tomorrow, when my colleague comes, he will try to tell you descriptive analytics. Now, basically, descriptive means they describe the data, and when you are trying to describe the data, you try to group them in a different way. So, basic functions in Excel, and how you can use them in the course of decision making, what sort of questions that you can ask in Excel, how you build query or search for something is what he will be talking. Then the next session he will be talking about pivot tables. So majority of you or any of you, if you have used this feature of data, sort and all that. So the pivot tables will tell you how do you do and build tables which will give the results that you want, you desire. So when you are looking at that, he will take example and he gives a data set also for the people to practice. Now, in an online course, the problem is if I am looking into the system, I cannot do anything. If I have to do something, then I need another system to do. So if you are, having a second system, or if you are sitting two people together, and then one person doing the application and the other person do listening, that can really help. Of course, the recorded data or recorded speech, whatever that you want, that our national officer will share in case you require. But basically, if you do at that point of time, then you can ask doubts if there are any. That will help you, do the things and then learn much with a greater vigor. Then coming to the third day, the third day is devoted to, one second. Yeah. Third day is devoted to predictive analytics. Now, predictive analytics means you are using the data and predicting or forecasting what will happen tomorrow. For example, those who used to listen to radio in 80s and 90s, excuse me, whenever the radio used to say that next week heavy rains will be there, we used to people used to carry umbrella and all, and ultimately rain never used to come. Sometimes the radio used to predict that it is going to be hot tomorrow, and then that day it used to rain heavily. Now, whereas today, because of the big data and satellite pictures and predictive abilities, we are able to predict the monsoon behavior and say that how the behavior will be, how much of rain will be there. Today, if you just ask your Google in your mobile on the temperatures and other things, it will tell you what is the temperature outside, how is going to be temperature today, and nearby of your area, whether it is going to rain or not, and if there is anything that you need to understand. Suppose you want to know how would it be, suppose you want to go to Switzerland in the month of November, and November, how the Switzerland's temperature will be. So you can easily try to know on the basis of the past. So on the basis of the past, you try to predict and then try to understand how the temperatures are going to be. I'm just taking one example. So let us say I'm asking Google, November 2021 temperatures Switzerland. So you can see average temperature is 1.6 degrees Celsius, daytime temperature 4.4 degrees temperature, daily sunshine will be for 3.4 hours, average rainfall is 100 mm, rainy days 15, and you just ask whatever you want, and then this is what is expected. What's the weather like in Interlaken Bern in November 2021? That's what is given. Now, if you want to know Switzerland, just you need to say, this is the data that I want. Okay, so they are predicting Geneva, Basel, Bern, Davos, Zurich, whichever area that you want, they are predicting and telling you the data. And how is it that they are predicting? They are giving the average temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, humidity, rainy days, average sun hours. Everything is given And here, this is what is going to be a big data. Now, for example, how does Google know this data is because this data is up in some website in Switzerland. Somewhere in Europe, Switzerland, the data is up, but Google is accessing at the place that you are, and then it is providing you the information. Now, this is how the internet has changed the world. Pre-internet era versus post-internet era, there is a huge change. For example, research. For example, your medication. Now, earlier, whatever medicine that the doctor used to prescribe, you used to take that medicine. Today, I don't want to take that medicine, or I want to know what exactly doctor has predicted. So when I go to the doctor and ask for some medicine, and because of my cold and all, he has given erythromycin. So I will say uses combination chemical composition and uses. So he will give you erythromycin is this chemical, 50S ribosomal, all that information was there. Sorry, I didn't share this. Yeah, I need to share, sorry. Yeah, so I just asked what is erythromycin. So chemical features is given. National Library of Medicine will tell you what is about blog. And then, erythromycin is one second. Yeah, erythromycin is an azolide derived from erythromycin and a member of subclass of macrolide antibiotics with bactericidal and bacteriostatic activities. Erythromycin reversible binds to the 50S ribosomal subunit of the 70S ribosome of sensitive microorganisms, thereby inhibiting translocation step of protein synthesis. NCI thesaurus, NCI thesaurus. You can see all that data. And then if you want to know uses, somewhere at the bottom you would have given. So I don't have time to read. So I'll just go back and say I want only uses of erythromycin or side effects of erythromycin. Uses and side effects of erythromycin. Is treat a wide variety of bacterial infections. It may also be used to prevent certain bacterial infections. Erythromycin is known as macrolide antibiotic. It works by stopping the growth of bacteria. This antibiotic treatments treats or prevents only bacterial infections. It will not work for viral infections such as common cold, flu. Using any antibiotic when it is not needed can cause it to not work for future infections. Medication by mouth as directed by your doctor. So basically what we are trying to understand is that earlier versus today, there is a huge change. So how many of you try to understand or can you distinguish between a structured data and an unstructured data? What is a structured data and what is an unstructured data? Any idea? Now, a structured data means a data with specific headings. So if I am creating a data like this, say for example, I'll share an Excel and then show you what is a structured data versus unstructured data. One second, my system is stuck. Yeah. I need to open an Excel. Yes. So when your enrollment number, that is serial number, employee number, you have an employee number for everyone, right? So employee ID, name of the employee, father's name or spouse name of the employee. Basic pay or date of joining, increment date. One second. So basically, whenever you are saying increment date, every year you get an increment. Basic pay at the time of joining, or basic pay, then DA, then HRA, and city compensatory allowance, then any other allowances, then gross pay, then deductions, then you have professional tax. So when I put all these things in a tabular format with the heading given over there, either it is a qualitative data or quantitative data, the data is structured. The data is structured. That means it has got a specific tag for each and every data. If I am writing something like a professional tax here, I can define professional tax to be in number only. So I will define here, when I say professional tax, it cannot be GHY, it cannot be GHY. It has to be the number only. And it needs to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all. Any of these numbers is acceptable, nothing beyond numbers. So I will define each cell and say this is what is the data that I require. So when I get that data or take that data, it is called a structured data. Now structured data has got a quantitative data and a qualitative data. Now, what is a qualitative data and what is a quantitative data? Qualitative data means it is like, you have a picture, you have an audio, you have a video, you have a, audio speech, or it could be a text. It could be a text. So when I get a name of the person, Veera Venkata Subramanyam. So this is a qualitative data. It is a text data, qualitative data. If I am having an audio speech, today my session is recorded and you have an audio speech, or it could be a video. Something of this sort is what we call it as qualitative data. So when I say qualitative data includes audio, video, text, picture, video. All this is qualitative data. You take a picture of some very good painter, that is a data. You take a photograph on the signal. These days you see across the cities, central government has given a guidelines that any town or city or anything with population more than 10 lakhs should have CCTV cameras, speed guns, etc. installed at all the streets. Now, why? Because if you are not wearing a helmet, you will be caught. Earlier, people used to stand at the streets and catch hold of the people. Today, the people are not catching hold of the people. The traffic people have become professional photographers. They are standing at one corner and taking the pictures. They are just taking the pictures. I don't know if I can show you any YouTube video of traffic police picking a picture. Let me just try, in case if I can show you in the YouTube.
డిజిటలైజేషన్ పుణ్యమాని జనానికి ట్రాఫిక్ చలాన్ల మోసమోగుతోంది. సిగ్నల్ జంప్ చేసి దర్జాగా వచ్చినా ట్రాఫిక్ పోలీసులు పట్టించుకోలేదని అనుకుంటున్నారు కొందరు. అయితే ఒకే ఒక్క క్లిక్ తోటి ఇంటికే చలాన్లు పంపుతున్నారు పోలీసులు. డిజిటల్ కెమెరాలు, సీసీ కెమెరాలతో రోడ్లపై నిఘా పెంచుతున్నారు.
హైదరాబాద్ సిటీలో రోడ్ల మీద తిరుగుతున్న బండ్ల సంఖ్య రోజు రోజుకు పెరుగుతోంది. రోజు లక్షల వాహనాలు రోడ్డుకు ఎక్కుతున్నాయి. ఇట్లా తిప్పుతున్నోళ్ళ చాలా మందికి అసలు లైసెన్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి. ఇన్సూరెన్స్, పొల్యూషన్ ఇట్లాంటి నిబంధనలు అసలు పట్టించుకోరు. సిగ్నల్ జంపులు, ట్రిపుల్ రైడింగ్ తోటి.
హలో,
yes ma'am.
sir, actually there are non-Telugu speaking people, sir.
No, I am just trying to show only the pictures. They don't need to hear the voice.
Okay, sir, carry on.
No, I am telling digitization, how digitization is changing, and I am explaining that.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Carry on, sir.
I'll be explaining on that. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So basically, what I am trying to show them is that how traffic people earlier used to catch hold of the people, and today how they are clicking the pictures and sending.
పోలీస్ కమిషనరేట్ పరిధిలో పెండింగ్ లో ఉన్న చలనాల విలువ 79 లక్షల పైగానే ఉంది. ఇంట్లో ఒక హైదరాబాద్ లోని 42,33,000
Sir, video not visible.
Yeah. One second.
Please, yes.
This in between share screen will trouble. Yeah. I think now it is visible.
ఇలాంటి ట్రాఫిక్ సైబరాబాద్ రాచకొండ పోలీస్ కమిషనరేట్ పరిధిలో పెండింగ్ లో ఉన్న చలనాల విలువ 79 లక్షల పైగానే ఉంది. ఇంట్లో ఒక హైదరాబాద్ లోని 42,33,000 పెండింగ్ పద్దుంది. ఇక ఇలాంటి ట్రాఫిక్ చలనాల మీద ఫోకస్ చేసిన పోలీసులు తమ చేతులకున్న కెమెరాలకు పని చెప్తున్నారు. సీసీ కెమెరాలతోటి హెల్మెట్ లేనోళ్లను, ట్రిపుల్ రైడింగ్ చేసేటోళ్ల ఫోటోల ఫుటేజ్ ను తీస్తూ ఫైన్లు వేస్తున్నారు. ఇక డిజిటలైజేషన్ అయిన కాడి నుంచి హెల్మెట్లు లేకున్నా, నో పార్కింగ్ జోన్ లో బండి ఆపినా, ట్రిపుల్ రైడింగ్ చేసిన వెహికల్ ఓనర్లకు చలాన్ల మెసేజ్ వస్తుంది. దీంతో రాష్ట్రంలో పెండింగ్ల చలాన్ల సంఖ్య కూడా పెరిగింది. ట్యాక్స్ కట్టకుంటే బండ్లు సీజ్ చేస్తామంటున్నారు పోలీసులు.
So what used to happen earlier was that people used to stop people and then, look for those who are not wearing a helmet, they used to challan. Today, they don't need to do anything. They are not stopping you on the street, but they are simply taking a picture and sending it home. And the problem is, suppose Vikas Kumar vehicle is being taken by somebody else and he is riding, Vikas Kumar will get a challan because the vehicle is registered in the name of Vikas. So lending vehicles also will be a problem. And then if there is any, any guy who is traveling and is not wearing any helmet or is not wearing a seat belt in the car, they don't stop you on the road and harass you. They'll simply put a snap and a speed gun, and then they will check for the speed. And if you are driving over speed, you will get a challan of 1,000 plus. And if you are not wearing a helmet and all, as of now, the challan is very less, but it is going to be increased to 2,000 is what central government is saying. So that will automatically, increase the fear among the people and, worry about the payments. Therefore, they'll say, no, Baba, you better wear a helmet. So that is how discipline has been enforced by the, governments. So digitization not only is looking at the businesses, even the administration in the government has been continuously looking at it and improving. Now, if suppose you look at a qualitative data, this is a qualitative data. When I look at this, it is a qualitative data. I have a video, I have a picture. So when I look at a picture, I have a, you see, I just click here.
Digitalization ayana kadi nunchi helmet పోలీసులు తమ చేతులకున్న కెమెరాలకు పని చెప్తున్నారు. సీట్ పిక్ చలాన్ల మీద ఫోకస్ టింగ్ పద్ధతి. ఇక ఇలాంటి ట్రాఫిక్ చలాన్ల మీద ఫోకస్ చేసిన పోలీసులు తమ చేతులకున్న కెమెరాలకు పని చెప్తున్నారు.
See, suppose if I just go back, I have this number TS07UE0055. So I know that this car driver is not wearing a seat belt without my stopping him and checking for it. Excepting that he has consumed alcohol. Alcohol driving, again, drunk and drive test will be there. That is a different test. They will stop and test that. Otherwise, normal routine things, they are stopping and doing it. And drunk and drive, anybody who is had drink and then driving, we are as of now do not have any sensors or systems, but we are most probably we will invent some sensors or systems in future, and that is going to change the world, and that is also going to stop here. So you just see the number here. You are able to see the number TS07UE0055. So I know the number. Now here also there is a number. I can take a snap of it, and in my picture it will be available. Now when I take this picture data, I call it as qualitative data. It is not a quantitative data because it is not a number directly as what we are discussing here. Now basic pay is a number data. It is a quantitative data. DA is a quantitative data. HRA is a quantitative data. CCA is a quantitative data. It is expressed in rupees, or you express it in number, digit number. So that is where the difference is: quantitative data, qualitative data. Now, the qualitative data also can be converted into quantitative data. For example, I asked Nageswara Garu questions that whether Nageswara Garu educational qualifications. So educational qualifications, I'll say educational qualifications. So primary school 1, secondary school 2, senior secondary 3, Then graduation, 4, post-graduation, 5, higher qualification higher than PG, 6. I have IRS officers. IRS, yes or no? So if yes equals to 1 and if no equals to 0. So what am I doing? If an employee is not an IRS, I'll just put 0. If he is an IRS officer, I will put 1. So I'll include one more column here. I'll say IRS, and then against the name of the person, I'll put 1, something like that. So I know that these ones are of IRS officers, these zeros are not IRS officers. Then when I'm looking at departmental promotions and become IRS ranking, then I can easily say who is coming from a departmental undertaking from some officer grade to IRS category, who has come like that, and who is an IRS qualified and come through IRS channel. Now that employees itself, I can classify them into different categories. Now that is where I require qualitative data to be converted into quantitative data. Now when I am doing all that, very important thing that I am looking at is filter. Now when I am filtering the data, when I filter the data, you see, when I say apply range, when I put the data and say, just click here, I'll get filter, and wherever I want data, whatever that I want, I will take. So this filtering, advanced filtering, is known as pivot, PIVOT. So that pivot tables will come into picture in the case of advanced filtering, and that will be discussed by our friend pivot expert Abhilash. Predictive analytics is not predicting. It is not focusing on things, but I'll show you something. Let us say you are having some data of, I'm taking some random numbers. So this is my, let us say, yearly data, 2011, 2012, like that. I have taken some data, and then, it is up to 2019. So what I will do with this data, I will draw a line. Simply, I will insert a line and show you, insert. Insert a line graph. I just took a line, a normal line I take. Yeah. So this is the line that I have. This is a general line, which is actual data line. Now what I will do, I'll just ask it to draw a line, add trend line. Now the trend line clearly distinguishes, this is the line. You can see there's a line here, blue dotted line, which has come. Now this dotted line is the one which I can draw a straight line from here and predict. Instead of writing 1, 2, 3 here, I'll take that years and then put it here in the years, and then draw the straight line further and find out what is the prediction. So this prediction, generally when I say trend line, it is basically regression. Screen not visible. Sir, please tell me whenever, speak up, no issues. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this dotted line you are able to see, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this dotted line is a trend line. Actually, regression line is there, no? That we learned y yc is equal to a plus bx, or mx is plus c, something like that. Y is equal to mx plus c, something like that. You would have seen a straight line. You would have learned. Now, the whatever line that you are talking about in these terms, the in this a is alpha and b is beta and x in our case is an year. So what will happen, that alpha is a slope. This is the alpha. This is the point and slope. Beta is the slope. Sorry, alpha is the point, starting point, which we call it as consonant, and then beta is the coefficient. So this alpha, beta, it will come like this directly. You can draw a straight line, taking a scale. You take a printout and take a scale, and you can draw the line. Okay, now then you can understand that if this is going like this, the trends will go like this. Now, if suppose I change the data, you can see I'll change the data. I'll remove these things and put some more, larger figures. 4,825, 5,638. 6,050, then 6,842, something like that I have taken. Now I'll just take this data and insert diagram, line diagram. You see the data has changed. Now you just click here and right click and you click a trend line. So this old one I will delete. Yeah, new one is existing now. You can see the straight line trend is going like this. You are able to see the dotted line, no? Now this dotted line is the one which is going to be the regression line. We call this as a regression line. So this is what will predict whether we are going to go further or not. So when I'm looking at numbers like my train tickets from Delhi to Calcutta or Calcutta to Delhi during the Dasara season, it would have been increasing on the regular basis. Number of trains would have also increased. Should I increase one more train or not? Will the strength be more than the required one train or less than one train requirement? How will the data be? So if I want to know last Dasara seasons, 3 months before or 4 months before data, monthly bookings I will take of Delhi to Calcutta, Hyderabad to Calcutta, I mean, all corners to Calcutta, Chennai to Calcutta, Vijayawada to Calcutta, all the Bihar to Calcutta. I'll take all the trains data and look at people, how many people travel towards Dasara, towards Calcutta during Dasara. So I know Navaratri time, before Navaratri time and after Navaratri time. And whosoever is going from Bihar will go back to Bihar. Whosoever is going from Hyderabad will go back to Hyderabad. So I can know both to and fro data. And then on that basis, I will predict last 7 years, last 10 years, the people who are traveling to an extent of this much. Now this many people will travel towards next year, towards Calcutta during Dasara season. That is how I can predict. Prediction means forecasting. So forecasting analysis is what will be done by our friend Vengal Rao. Then prescriptive analysis. What should you do? That means if so much is the available output, what should be the input? That means what should you buy? Like for example, demand for trains to Calcutta increase during Dasara time. Now that is a prediction. How much will increase? Now what should you do? What should you do means you should have higher water facilities, better AC conditioning, or continuous maintenance of air conditionings, continuous maintenance of the bogies, train bogies. Then you need to inform your pilots, train pilots or loco pilots not to take leave. You should also have more number of pilots in reserve so that you run the trains without any issues. You should also have more trains. That means more bogies and more engines should be ready towards traveling the towards the Calcutta. Then you should also communicate to the electricity supply department that power, wherever electric trains go, power is required. Wherever coal engines are there, coal requirement. Like that means what all are required, how do you prescribe, what should you do is what is discussed by Dr. Sri Yogi. Both linear programming basically looks at two important areas. One, maximization, and one, minimization. Maximization means maximum objective. Objective should be to achieve maximum profits or maximum satisfaction to the customer. Whereas minimization is minimization of cost or minimization of efforts and getting maximum results. That is linear programming solving applications will be done by Sri Yogi. That will be done on Thursday. Friday again, our friend will come, Abhilash Ponnam will come back to continue with pivot charts, report generation, and creating dashboards. Now, creating dashboards, let us say, for example, I'll take Hans Rosling, how he created visual analytics. It's not dashboard, but dashboard SEBI advanced one. I will show you that. Maybe that is going to be useful. 1 second. Let me go to the search area and then do that. Have you, I would have shown the Hans Rosling's 200 years, 200 countries data, how it is presented. Hans Rosling, 200 countries, 200 years in 4 minutes. Within 4 minutes, yes, presented, all the data. Yeah.
Visualization is right at the heart of my own work too. I teach global health. And I know having the data is not enough. I have to show it in ways people both enjoy and understand. Now, I'm going to try something I've never done before. Animating the data in real space with a bit of technical assistance from the crew. So here we go. First, an axis for health, life expectancy from 25 years to 75 years. And down here, an axis for wealth, income per person.
Oh, he is putting in the graph two things. One, the life expectancy. That means what is the life expectancy in India today is around 72 years. 68 to 72. We have increased it from 67, 68 today. The doctors and the scientists are saying that average life an Indian lives in India and before passing away is around 72 years. That's the average life anticipation. So that is what he is giving, average lifespan. And there he is putting 25 years, 50 years, 75 years, because the average lifespan for the during certain period was very less, particularly during 1920s, 1930s. Malnutrition, then lack of food, non-availability of food. A lot of people died because of different diseases like cholera and untreatable diseases, etc. Once the science grew, the automatically population also grew. And on the other hand, incomes of the population also grew. Now there he is saying that basically the number of children and income is a relationship is there. Now that relationship is trying to establish using the visual analytics. Now when I say visual analytics, there are two softwares which are there, like Tableau and Business Intelligence, BI. Now, these two are separately taught by different institutions. We don't need to worry about that. What we need to worry about is what is it that they can do in that systems, in that software. Okay. So we are trying to look at what is it that one can do over there.
$400,000, $4,000, and $40,000. So down here is poor and sick, and up here is rich and healthy.
So he is creating 4 quadrants. Now 4 quadrants means 4 quarters in a graph, like 4 squares. The first square that he has put is poor and sick. That means less than 25 years, less than 50 years, lifespan of the people. That means they are sick and people die soon, and the incomes are also less than 4,000. Or less than 5,000 or 6,000, something like that. Now the second thing is high income, very rich. That means per capita income is $40,000 and the lifespan also is 75 years. So then in such case they fall there. That is in the top right corner. But you see they are sick, but incomes are high, 75. This is where majority of the countries are trying to go in the future. If you try to understand, because people are going and earning money, but they are not taking care of health. And unless you take care of health, you will not be healthy. And then automatically, if you are not healthy, then automatically your lifespan will go down. So in fact, that has changed. The science has improved so much that the lifespan of the population has increased, and death rates have also decreased. In 1920s in India, the death rates were around 28 to 32. Today, the death rates have fallen down so much that the death rates have gone down to around 6%, 7% and 6%. Whereas, 2%. Death rates have gone down to 2 to 3%. 3 per 1,000, 3 per 1,000, not 3%, 3 for every 1,000 people die. Whereas birth rates also have gone down, and the birth rates have gone down to something like 7 and 6. And whatever difference that we are seeing, that is 6 minus 2, 6 minus 2.5 or 3 per 1,000, that additional for every 1,000, 3 people will grow. That means if there are 10 lakhs, now 10 lakhs divided by 1,000 is around 100 thousands. That means in about a population, 10 lakhs is 1,000, 1,000 thousands. So that means for every 1,000, there should be 3 people. If I deduct that 1,000, you will get 3,000 people added. For every 10 lakhs, 3,000 people will be added. Now that is how our population is increasing. And the rate of increase here is high to low will happen, and by 2050 we are going to be something around 160 170 crore population with the death rates and birth rates stabilizing at around 2 or 3 per 1,000. Now till then we are going to struggle hard like this, and we are going to have overpopulation. But whereas if you try to understand, it is also a challenge if you don't have children. For example, China, they mandated that they should have only 1 child per couple. And because of that, you see, today they are finding short of people work, to work. Old age people will be increasing, young age people will be decreasing. Now today, what they have done in 2016, they changed the policy to 2 people per couple. Anybody who wants to have 2 people per couple can go ahead and have. Government will support. Just yesterday or 1 week or 10 days back, they have gone ahead and increased that number to 3. That means every couple can have 3 children now. Now that is where basically they tried to curb the population, and they mandated it because it is a communist country with no democracy. They could do that. But whereas India is a democratic country, we cannot go and tell anybody. If I tell someone that you please don't have a child, then immediately will go and sit at Dharna Chowk saying that that minister has asked me not to have children. How fair is it? Now this is the challenge in a democracy. So because of that, implementing policy also is a challenge in the democracies.
Now, I'm going to show you the world 200 years ago, in 1810. Here come all the countries. Europe brown, Asia red, Middle East green, Africa south of Sahara blue, and the Americas yellow. And the size of the country bubbles show the size of the population. And in 1810, it was...
Now that red balls are China, Asia, and in that 2 big balls are there. If you see that big ball, the higher upper big ball, now I don't know whether I can show with the cursor, whether you are able to see the cursor. This is the cursor that I have. Higher ball, bigger ball is China, and a smaller ball at 0. If you try to see both and XY origins, that is where India is. Yeah.
Pretty crowded down there, wasn't it? All countries were sick and poor. Life expectancy were below 40 in all countries. And only UK and the Netherlands were slightly better off, but not much. And now, why start the world? The Industrial Revolution makes countries in Europe and elsewhere move away from the rest. But the colonized countries in Asia and Africa, they are stuck down there. And eventually, the Western countries get healthier and healthier. And now we slow down to show the impact of the First World War and the Spanish flu epidemic. What a catastrophe. And now I speed up through the 1920s and the 1930s. And in spite of the Great Depression, Western countries forge on towards greater wealth and health. Japan and some others try to follow, but most countries stay down here. Now, after the tragedies of the Second World War, we stop a bit to look at the world in 1948. 1948 was a great year. The war was over, Sweden topped the medal table at the Winter Olympics, and I was born. But the differences between the countries of the world was wider than ever. The United States was in the front, Japan was catching up. Brazil was way behind, Iran was getting a little richer from oil, but still had short lives. And the Asian giants, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Indonesia, they were still poor and sick down here. But look what is about to happen. Here we go again. In my lifetime, former colonies gained independence, and then finally they started to get healthier and healthier and healthier. And in the 1970s, then countries in Asia and Latin America started to catch up with the Western countries. They became the emerging economies. Some in Africa follows. Some Africans were stuck in civil war and others hit by HIV. And now we can see the world today in the most up-to-date statistics. Most people today live in the middle, but there are huge differences at the same time between the best of countries and the worst of countries. And there are also huge inequalities within countries. These bubbles show country averages, but I can split them. Take China, I can split it into provinces. There goes Shanghai. It has the same wealth and health as Italy today. And there is the poor inland province Guizhou. It is like Pakistan. And if I split it further, the rural parts are like Ghana in Africa.
And yet, despite the enormous disparities today, we have seen 200 years of remarkable progress. That huge historical gap between the West and the rest is now closing. We have become an entirely new converging world. And I see a clear trend into the future. With aid, trade, green technology, and peace, it's fully possible that everyone can make it to the healthy, wealthy corner.
Well, what you have seen in the last few minutes is a story of 200 countries shown over 200 years and beyond.
It involves plotting of 120,000 numbers. Pretty neat, huh?
Did you all see visual data analytics? How big will be the data? 200 countries, 200 years. And, even in the countries, the detailed data of the countries also is there. So when you see the data and how it is presented, how smartly presented, that is where you try to understand visual analytics. He also spoke something about prediction. That is, tomorrow what will happen. That is, when he is presenting the data, he is trying to tell you that how will the data be? I mean, what will be the population be in the future? For example, just see that
Sometimes while writing my newsletters, I tend to type so fast that there are spelling errors or some of my sentences.
Did you resign from that job you got?
no, that's not the one. One second.
The rest is now closing. We have become an entirely new
So if you try to
world.
see
And I see
here,
a clear trend
he is
in
predicting the data.
trade, green technology, and
You see?
it's fully possible.
Now he is saying we are all going towards this. He's drawn lines and said we are all moving towards that. And how much time does it take? He has not estimated. But maybe another next 20 years, 25 years, we should be reaching there. That is where basically the predictiveness also can be done with the visual analytics. But if you try to understand a dashboard or look at a dashboard also will be continuously changing. Say, for example, I want to have a dashboard built for marketing department, area-wise sales, region-wise sales. So I have 16 regions or 18 regions or 20 regions. I divided the entire country into, and then 19th region is the exports, or exporting only to Europe, America, North America, South America, and all. So I will make continent-wise data dashboards, and that dashboards, whatever the data that I have, that will tell me where I should focus. Now, if I want to know the detail, I will dig out by asking what is this data more about. That means in North America, sales are increasing or sales are decreasing. Why is it decreasing? Where is it decreasing? I subdivide into different parts and then see which side is the sales decreasing, which side is the sales increasing. And then again, I'll go further and see which products sales are increasing, which products sales are decreasing. Accordingly, I make an analysis. So data is going to be the root cause or base for the decision making. And that is where a big data and how to handle big data, what to do, what not to do is the overall crux of this entire session. Yeah. Any queries? Any questions that you have? So one person at least was speaking in between that or chat was there, screen not visible. Vibha madam is the one who had visual.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. One more person is there speaking. No, only one. Okay. Madam, be there, speak, be continuously speaking. Otherwise,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time. Now was.
Otherwise, it will be like, I am speaking, but to the blackboard.
No, sir. We are listening, sir.
Yeah. How many of you heard something about mainframes. How does a mainframe work and what is happening? Now, basically, the systems growth and utilities I'll speak so that you understand how the systems grow and why we are changing and implementing things across, how we are implementing things across. Say, for example, the invention of computer. Basically, Charles Babbage's invention of computer was for the purpose of doing arithmetic and logical unit measurements. That means ALU we used to call. So that is what the basic purpose is, arithmetics, plus, minus, multiplication, division. For all these things, he wanted a machine to work, and because of that, he invented computer. But today, if you try to look at computer, computer for that purpose is not required at all. You require a small mini calculator, and every telephone has got a calculator. Today, every telephone, in fact, the small telephone, which is not an intelligent or smartphone, that also has a calculator. So what is the thing that has transformed is the technology and digitization, both technology and digitization. Now, when I say technology means the purely hardware and improvements in the hardware, and digitization means the processes that we are implementing. Now, earlier, train tickets we used to give by selling a ticket on the card. Now, that data to capture was a very serious matter of concern we never had. Today, we have the computers which are helping. But what used to happen in about 20-25 years back in US, they used to use something known as mainframes. Now, mainframes means you have a server at your organization. So South Central Railway might have all servers set up in Secunderabad Metuguda Central Railway office, and all the data that is fed across the South Central Railway will come into the base servers, and that is where all the data will be available. Now, if suppose main servers are there in Delhi, now suppose somebody is booking a ticket from Hyderabad to Delhi Telangana Express on 21st of September, that he wants to go to Delhi with his family, and he has given a slip, himself, his wife, and then his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 daughters. Put together, all the 6 members want to go to Delhi. Now, when they want to go to Delhi, what the ticket vendor will say, or IRCTC will say, please enter your name, please enter which place you belong to, or what is your IRCTC login. And if you do not have a login, please create a login. Now, while creating the login, it will ask for mail address, mail ID, password, then address, residential address, and all the things it will take, and it will book the tickets from Telangana, Hyderabad to Delhi. Now, when all these things are done, earlier versus today, earlier who is coming, who is doing everything used to be manual. Today, everything is digital. That means my ticket buying customer should give me the information. My ticketing clerk will type all the data and then issue the tickets. Now, once the tickets are issued, there is also another data which is happening. She has got a mobile, she get an OTP. IRCTC OTP is there. Are you the same person? Please say yes if you are not a robo. Now, all that things will happen, and then she will buy a ticket and go to Delhi. Now, when she is traveling to Delhi, I have a record, that is, she is carrying a mobile. So there are mobile telephony towers which are giving her the communication systems, and as well recording the information about why this lady is traveling from Hyderabad to Delhi. Now, that is how you cannot escape from anybody today, and the data is so much and captured by so many people across. Which data will be useful, which data will not be useful is a big question. Now that is where art of questioning is what you need to learn. What should we learn? Art of questioning. Art of questioning. What should we learn?
Art of questioning.
Art of questioning means asking right question.
Sir, please share the screen.
Yeah. I'm not showing anything. I'm typing the things and put in the chat. Art of questioning. You can see the chat. I have written a motto of our college: ask a right question and be a Sardar. I studied in Sardar Patel College. Our Sardar Patel College motto is ask right question, be a Sardar. That's how we have learned. Now, when I am saying ask a right question, that means I have huge amount of data. What should I ask? What should I not ask is a big challenge. No. That's why majority of the people, make lot of fun. If God appears, what will you ask? So if God appears, people will ask how to make gold. Then the other person will say, why should you ask how to make gold? You should ask him to give gold itself, no? Something like that. So majority of the times we don't know what to ask. And particularly when data is huge, it is very serious challenge to ask a right question. And what happens basically, even today you ask a question and you don't get the answer properly in the Google, then you frame the question rightly, you will get the right answer. Even Google also has got the problem because they work on the systems that are developed. They are all artificial. We call that as artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Okay, so we'll discuss artificial intelligence, machine learning, then data sciences, how the things will be. What is deep learning? How is deep learning different from machine learning? What is a bot? What is a IoT? And applications of such in the different industries, where it is applied and how is it applied, and one case I'll discuss, and then we will close. Okay, so it's around 11:16. We break for a cup of tea. Okay, so if you all can come back around 11:35 or 11:35, we will start the session back.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, voice is not audible.
And now I'm in this group. I can
Yes,
go
thank you.
the richest billion. We can go on holiday by airplanes. Of course, there are people who are much richer than the airplane people. Some are rich.
No, I just was
Here I
trying
have
to,
all the
you know,
billions again.
initiate
They are in a very
so
simplified
that we'll
way,
go ahead
lying
and
down
then
clear
start the
from the
discussion.
poorest to the
Okay,
richest.
sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how much does the richest billion earn here in dollar per day? Well, let's look here. Ooh, it's coming up, it's coming up. Ooh, yo, 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 yo. I can't even reach $100 a day. Then let's look at the middle billion, who is exactly in the middle. How much do they earn? It'll come, yes, just 10. And then I go over here to the poorest billion. How much do they get? Well, just 1. This is the difference of the world today. And the economists, they draw a line which they call the line for extreme poverty, a little above $1. That's when you hardly can have enough food to feed the family. You cannot be sure that you have food all days, you know? And 1 billion is clearly below that still. And the second billion is sort of divided by that line. And then the others are above it. Now, the poorest people, they can hardly afford to buy shoes. And when they get shoes, the next thing they will save for is bicycle. This is where Andre and Olivia is. And after bicycle, you will go for the motorbike. And then after the motorbike, it's the car. And I remember when my family got the first car. It was a small gray Volkswagen. The first thing we did was to go to Norway on holiday, because Norway is so much more beautiful than Sweden. It was a fantastic trip. And now I'm in this group. I can go, like the richest billion, we can go on holiday by airplanes. Of course, there are people who are much richer than the airplane people. Some are so rich, so they're even contemplating that they should go as tourists out into space. And the difference in income from the airplane people to the very richest over there is almost as big as it is from the airplane people here, you know, all the way down to the poorest in that side. Now, the most important to remember from this yardstick is this. And I need to show you this, I need my step ladder. Sometimes you need some old, well-functioning technology also. Here. I can only reach up. Here they are. Now I'm at the top. The problem for us living on $100 a day is that when we look down on those who have $10 or $1, they look equally poor. We can't see the difference. It looks as if everyone is living on the same amount of money. And they say, oh, they are all poor. No, I can assure you, because I've met and talked with people who live down here, and I can assure you that the people down here, they know very well how much better life would be if they would move from $1 to $10, 10 times as much income. This is a huge difference.
Yeah. See, basically, if you are learning, you know, Tableau or business intelligence (BI) software, and then put the data and then start learning, you will see that data visualization and visual analytics is a huge area. One life will go there. That's such a big area. So we were discussing in the last minutes of our session, what is this computer invented for, and what is this mainframe, and where from we moved from moved to, and where we are as of now, and where we are expecting to go further. So first thing that we need to remember is Charles Babbage invented computer for simple arithmetic logical unit carrying. That is simple arithmetic calculations. Later, the computer was tried to be put and improved on the basis of the memory cards improved. So memory cards and functioning improved from transistors to chips to microchips to super microchips. Today, I can carry data in a pocket in a small, 1-inch square with 3 mm or 4 mm stick, which we call it as a stick, a data stick or data drive. I can carry almost 100 movies. That is where we moved from earlier days to current. So because of that, the system carrying out the data and doing the processing has improved. So first was 186, then 286, then 386, then 486, then Pentium. Like that, data improved and improved and improved. Today, we have something known as SSD, solid state device. If your system is started, it will get started within around 19 to 30 seconds, 18 to 30 seconds. Whereas our old systems, you see, when you switch it on with Windows 10 or 11, it takes almost 1.5 minutes. Whereas the new systems with the SS drive, they call it as SSD, solid state device. These devices are much faster and they start within 30 seconds. Now, for example, Indian Railways, the systems that are used at reservation counters, they are all simple dummy systems without any memory. But all these things will go to memory, the mainframe, the servers, and do the programming part and then get the results. Now, for that, we innovated first we had this LAN, local area network. Then we had created wide area network, and after looking at all these things will not work. They went up to WWW, that is World Wide Web. Now that is where internet has been into life, and from there lives have changed in terms of accessing the data and building the data. Now that is where data has become much more easier for access because of internet. So today, data need not be in your pocket or in your hard drive, but you can directly put it in the cloud. That means I don't need to hold any data. It is like, my cloud will hold the data. I will access the data whenever I want. So it's like, at home, my grandparents, whenever they were organizing a small get together about 200, 300 people. So for all the 200, 300 people, we used to first, buy everything, buy utensils and, and then serve in the leaves and all that. Today, what they did, no, you don't need to worry. You don't need to buy all that things. What you do, you buy for your normal domestic purpose, but whenever you have functions and all, we are here to serve you. Then later what has happened, we have further developed from there. And now your utensils need not be there for cooking also, because you have a, curry point and roti point. Only thing you need to have is serving bowls and eating. And that too in a disposable way you buy, so that you don't need to carry anything. So like that, the carrying aspect has been reduced and business aspect has been increasing. And because of that, there is a change in the trends of the businesses. And because of that, businesses also have changed. And that is where big data is become a very important area for discussion. Now, on the other hand, the human labor also has become costly to run the businesses, or rather I should say human brains required is for higher level purposes, and whatever normal things are there, which as routine jobs are there, all the routine jobs are going to be slowly going off. Let us say, for example, you take your signaling men. Every what do you say station has got what do you call that? Before the station there is a room, no, where the signal people will be sitting and indicating.
Cabin.
cabin. Yeah, cabin crew, right? So all these people, there used to be minimum of 3 people for 3 shifts. Now all these people are not required because in a computer, whosoever is the station manager, he will press a green button or a red button, finish. Because of that, the entire number of stations into 3 are, jobless now. Likewise, computer typists and data and this shorthand people. Earlier, if you remember, IAS officer used to have a stenographer. Now, no stenographers now. IAS officers have to sit themselves and type the letters on the computer because it is not a typewriter. It is not a big challenge. It is only keypad, and that job will be taken care. Now, in future, it will be like it doesn't. Already we have the systems, but the pronunciation is not getting done. For example, I will put live transcript. I don't know if I have live transcript. No, it is not there in this live transcript. Share screen security, live transcript. Do you see anything of a button called live transcript? Anybody? No, no. No, there is an option by in the Zoom. There will be live transcript, like when you are watching some Hindi serials or Tamil serials, and you want some English captions coming at the bottom. You are seeing that, no? Likewise, in the Zoom also, we have live transcript. Live transcript is whatever I am speaking in English, that will come as a typewritten material at the bottom, which I call it as live transcript. So it will be transcribed, written in English. So because of that, in future, your mail also, you don't need to type. Like you are telling your Google Assistant today, I will tell my Google Assistant, call so-and-so. So automatically it will start calling the people. Siri, Alexa, you are doing that job, right?
Yes.
So that means the jobs that you require to do. Likewise, your journalization, people used to write, enter the transactions. You don't require them. The moment a transaction happens, it automatically get recorded. So accountants' jobs, which are routine, the cabin crew's job, which are signaling men's job, going and standing at the station and giving a flag boys, all these sort of low caliber, low technology areas will all be slowly going off, fading off. Now, what jobs will sustain, will be different. So computers have evolved, and from 486 to Pentium to so much systems. Because of that, you have memory in the system. Because of that, mainframes have disappeared. Now, because you can put everything in the cloud, you don't require a LAN, WAN, etc. You have an internet facility. Now, because of that, the mainframe system, they are disappeared, and now you have cloud-based data computing. That is where the big data has come into, and data is huge. Now, next thing that we need to look at is what is this machine learning, deep learning, and how is it used? For example, I'll take an example of, Venkatraman sir is the portfolio manager, and he is working for, an investment company, mutual fund company, and this mutual fund company invests something like 10,000 crores. Now, when 10,000 crores has to be invested into the stock market, into the bond market, is it an easy job? It isn't it? It is not an easy job. So what will happen? Venkatraman sir has to invest. And whenever there is a demand, that means, suppose, for example, you saw new IPOs are coming now. New NFOs are coming. Nippon India NFO has come. So people have invested money. And across the country, people have invested money. and all that investments have to go into equity or debt, and then securities purchase. So when I want to purchase a security, let us say I want to purchase ITC security. So when I look at the ITC, I'm just looking at ITC. What is the ITC share price today? Share price of ITC today is 207.40. So I want to buy some, 1 lakh shares at the rate of 207. What will happen to the share price? Share price will immediately jump upwards, because there is a huge demand. 1 lakh shares I am buying at a time. That means the demand for shares has increased. Because of that, share price will increase. But I want to buy at 207, 208, 209, 210. I don't want to go or pay beyond 210. So what will I say to my system is, I will tell my system that go to share market. Whenever you find any of the deals happening, if the share price of ITC is less than 210, and there are people who are selling in the lots of 50, 100, 30, 1, 2, whatever, you buy it. But if the share price increases over and above 210, don't buy it. That means you are saying that 210 is the closing price. Even if it is 210 rupees, 1 paisa or 2 paisa, it will not buy, because it is computer. And because 210 is the price at which it can buy, up to 210, whenever there is a supplier, whenever there is some seller selling the shares, it will go on buying. Automatically, after a certain period of time, 10 lakh shares would have come. It will take some 3 days or 4 days or 2 days, whatever. So what do we call that? We call that as algorithmic trading. That means we push the trade systems in such a way that it will create an algorithm. We create an algorithm and give it to the system. System will execute as per the requirements, and because of that, we will buy the shares at a price less than 210. If it is more than 210, it will not buy. That is what basically one needs to understand. So therefore, when we are looking at all that, you don't require a big server for that. We require a small PC or a small laptop where I connect it to the internet and then give the program. Automatically program is executed. Therefore, these mainframes, whatever they were there in 1990s, 1980s in the US, are now slowly, steadily replaced or removed. And then, you have a super power computers with high-end data, processors, data storage devices, and data containing devices. Because of that, the systems have changed in terms of managing such things. Coming back, so what we learned is, we also need to know what is a bot. Now, what is a bot? Technology and leveraging technology for survival. That is what we were discussing. Understanding and evolution and contemporary systems vis-a-vis emergence, evolution, and transformation of the systems. Path from data to big data, data velocity, volume, and mainframes to cloud computing, we have discussed. Systems and their influence in the lifestyle of the people. Yes, we were looking at lifestyles of the people and how they changed. Simple one lifestyle I can tell you is, click on Google and say, I want to go from one destination to another destination. It will tell you easily, clearly that how much traffic is there, what is the time that it will take, and what all happened. Likewise, if you take your own lifestyle, where did you go? How many times did you go to restaurant X? How many times did you go to the other place? All the things are given to you because you are carrying something known as a data capturing device, which is your mobile. Likewise, what is a bot and its influence? What is IoT and transformation and its applications? These are the two things that we are left with. Visual analytics, we have seen Hans Rosling's 2 videos. I'll see if I can show you that population and population control video, and then we'll continue to see others. Okay. Now, blockchain, neural networks, etc. What is a blockchain and what is a neural network? What is machine learning? What is artificial intelligence? Technologies used in the process of big data like MapReduce, Pig, Hive, Python, Hadoop. These are the things that are the latest. So latest software is there in terms of data analytics by name Orange. Like that, different softwares are there available in the world across for people to access, and that is where our people are doing miracles. Applications of some contemporary systems in Indian Railways and impact on performance systems. Have you ever heard any IoT or bot systems used in railways? In Indian Railways railway stations, the Indian Railways is installing cameras to identify terrorist activities or anti-national activities, anti-social elements. Have you ever seen any such news?
Surveillance cameras, yes, sir.
Surveillance cameras, yes. So Indian Railways I think CCTVs are CCTVs for anti or terrorist activities. The 4 years on mission to install railway stations. It's happening. I just Googled and these are the outcomes. 4 years on mission on install CCTVs at railway stations derails. It got derailed. That is what it says. But if you try to see, this is what they have started. Envisaged under the Nirbhaya Fund, investigation reveals irregularities in tendering process. More than 4 years after a MOU was signed between Indian Railways and Railtel for the installation of surveillance cameras at 983 stations across the country, the project envisaged the Nirbhaya Fund to enhance safety of women passengers has derailed. But this is what they started. How many of you remember, know this? They started in somewhere around 2016.
Few are installed in Churchgate and VT station, sir.
See, there will be somebody who will be playing around and doing mischief, but we have to continue and complete that process. So likewise, I think I have that links in my PPT. I can share that links. What all they have done is what I have tried to put them. So leveraging technologies, today's business survival techniques. The major worries is what is the paradigm shift? Where are we heading? We have seen all this. Will human be dispensable in many jobs that we are in today? Will robots take over the jobs of many? That is where I was telling you the jobs without technological. Yeah, I need to click here only, I think. See, the questions that young employees, those who crossed 50, they need not worry. because another 8-10 years we can easily sustain and live. But those who are less than 50 all need to worry and then upgrade themselves with some
काम
of
है
the
talented employees ढूंढना
I'm not
और उन्हें
fearing you. I'm not creating fear among you. Basically, what I'm trying to say
15 jobs that will disappear in the next 20 years. Welcome to alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired.
you are able to watch, you are able to see and hear.
No, sir. No, sir.
No,
No.
I share sound also is there. You are
Yes, sir. No. Yeah.
Dear Aluxers, we have a very different kind of video for you today. I know that for some, the future is incredibly exciting, filled with new technologies and new opportunities. But for some others, the future doesn't look as bright, and we want to raise some concerns with you guys. A study done at Oxford University found out that some of them being completely automated or at least upgraded to a point where a fraction of the workforce is needed. So, this will greatly impact the way you plan for your future as the environment is changing. In this video, we'll go through just some of the jobs that will radically change in the upcoming decade and the years that follow. If you're currently working in either of these industries, it might be a smart call to look for alternatives. Don't say we didn't warn you. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. With that said, here are 15 jobs that will probably disappear or be automated in the next 10 to 20 years. Number 1. Drivers. Let me put it this way. If your job consists of driving any type of machinery, automobile or vehicle, you're gonna be out of a job soon. Taxi drivers, bus drivers, truck drivers, Uber drivers, and delivery drivers are all on the verge of complete automation. In the US alone, there are 15.5 million trucks and 2 million tractor trailers on the road, with the trucking industry employing 14 million people, out of which 10 million are drivers. These are the people who are going to be pushed out first, because a self-driving truck doesn't need to stop for rest, is attentive to the road 24/7, and we already have the technology. Believe it or not, this is already backed by the government in Germany, and they're betting hard on self-driving trucks. If you've watched our Tesla video, you know that the next generation of Tesla cars will be 100% autonomous. Elon Musk himself agrees that it will take us 1 to 2 years to get the tech right, and then 3 more to get the government to approve it. All major car manufacturers are headed towards electric and self-driving cars, and those who won't will be left behind. In the near future, riding in a car will be like getting in an elevator. You just press a button and it takes you to wherever you want to go. Now, what's going to happen to the estimated 20 million to have their livelihoods based on being active drivers? These people will need to reinvent themselves multiple times in a row. This might be easy if you're currently 20 to 30 years old, but what will a 50-plus-year-old taxi driver be able to readapt to? Not sure what these people will be able to do to switch from taxi driving to 3D modeling for virtual farming was huge when it came to employment numbers back in the day. This has changed dramatically, though. You might still see farming as human labor intensive in the underdeveloped parts of the world. But on a macro level, this has already been automated, with very few specially trained individuals that operate heavy machinery from the comforts of the office via wireless connection.
Imagine what will be the fate of country like India if farming is automated. What will be the status?
Back in the day, you needed to physically measure your plot of land, needed human labor to weed it out, and another set of people to harvest and transport the end product to where it's needed. Now we measure things with drones or satellite imagery. The soil is already treated against weeds, or the seeds are weed resistant to begin with. Harvesting and planting can be done in a small fraction of the time it used to, thanks to specialized hardware, and the trucks carrying out will be self-driving really soon. Bearing the title of farmer in the near future will be as highly ranked as banker or hedge fund manager, since there'll only be a handful of people having the oligopoly when it comes to what you eat. If this sounds ridiculous to you, that only a few people will be in charge of our food, you're already too late to the table. Today, only 10 companies control almost every large food and beverage brand in the world. Anything you eat probably comes from one of them. These companies: Nestle, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, Danone, General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars, Associated British Foods, and Mondelez. Welcome to the future, Aluxers. Traditional media is suffering as the internet is eating up everything. You no longer need to get your news from the papers. You get them you've watched our video, and there are very paywall in the work first environment on YouTube. People are going to be out of a job sooner than they think. I know you've seen the self-checkout stations, and they still have someone supervising them, and they're buggy now and then, but we're not far from a total takeover of the machines in this space. If you've been following what the biggest commerce giants are doing, it's easy to connect the dots. Amazon acquired Whole Foods for close to $14 billion. The same Amazon is running pilot tests with what they call Amazon Go, a corner store with zero humans involved, where you just walk in, get what you need, and walk out, with everything you bought being automatically deducted from your credit card. Sensors are on the rise, and the tech needs to only be a little better than the human counterpart for the switch to be made. Also, the AI cashiers can go 24/7 without bringing the drama of their personal lives into the workplace. Number 5. Travel agents. When's the last time you went to a travel technology ago in the factories of Volkswagen and how they're built today? Back then, multiple humans were working in tandem to put together the end product, while today you're watching simple software at work. We heard this great quote a while back that stuck with us, and it goes like this: "The factory of the future will only have one human and one dog. The human will be there to feed the dog, and the dog will be there to keep the human from touching the machines."
Hello, my dear business owners. Are you running after money? Are you working
Number 7. Dispatchers. I know you're probably thinking of the days when someone had to coordinate the field operators so things run smoothly for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a firefighter dispatcher, working with planes, the police, or ambulance. Remember only 5 years ago when you had to call someone and ask for a cab? How do you ask for an Uber or a Lyft today? One algorithm making their way into your particular niche of dispatching, and your job is over. Number 8. Waiting tables and bartending. Okay, not all of them will be gone, but the bulk surely have one foot out the door already. Of course, there's the need for social interaction, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you just want to sit down, have the food arrive at your table as soon as possible, enjoy a particular mix of alcoholic beverages, and then leave. All of which can be successfully replaced by a carefully documented algorithm and an iPad. More and more restaurants are jumping in on this trend all around the world. We've even mentioned some of them in our previous video about cool restaurants around the world that you should try out, and we made this video a year ago. Since then, the likes of Pizza have taken over, and they're here to stay. Number 9. Bank tellers. I'm sad to say this, as the lady at our bank has always been so nice to me, but we're not going to the bank for social interaction. To be honest, we don't go to the bank anymore, or very rarely when a visit is really needed. Otherwise, we check out our balance on our smartphones. Even the people on our payroll get their money delivered to their accounts automatically, without the need for us to manually and physically fill in a form with their details. If you want to grab cash, you go to an ATM. You can open a bank account to most banks in the world online, and only if you're looking for specialized services, you might need to meet in person. And even then, you might get the job done with a video call. Number 10. Military pilots and soldiers. The military is the most sensible industry to innovation. It is the first one to embrace it and deploy it. If back in the day wars were decided based on who had the largest number of troops, today it's a technology play. You no longer see drones can hit a target more accurately than any human could without. There is still a need for most of the best who are fast food workers. Remember when people were asking for $15 an hour to work at McDonald's? That's when automation kicks in. All the people protesting the low wages for unskilled jobs will be the first ones to be hit if such an increase in pay does happen. Anyway, but companies didn't do it right away because they didn't have any incentive to mess with something that's working fine right now. But now with all the protests, the government might actually give in, and that's when the wave of automation to happen with the rise in minimum wage, which we strongly recommend you check out in the top right corner and in the description. Number 12. Telemarketer. Have you noticed that based on with to create a custom profile for every. The irony is, even before this video you're watching right now, there was probably an ad promoting something you more or less are interested in. Ads are getting smarter as they learn more and more. Accountants and tax preparers organize it. There are 1 million registered accountants and auditors. Even if it would cost $15 billion to create a highly sophisticated AI that would get the job done perfectly, that piece of software would pay for itself in under 2 years. That's why AI engineers are going after accountants, lawyers, and medical professionals. Number 14. Stock traders. Long are the days of Jordan Belfort and Gordon Gekko. A study done by Bloomberg analysts in late 2015 discovered that only 10% of the stocks traded on a daily basis worldwide are traded by actual humans and investors. The rest are bots. Wherever there's money, someone will try to automate it and get an edge against their competitors. The stock market is one of those places, and the people behind the biggest funds in the world have deep enough pockets to capitalize on it. Want to be free platform or trading price? The bots trade it between themselves and then sell it to you at a noticeably bigger price. Welcome to the world of micro trading. Number 15. Construction workers. Back here on Earth, where people actually use their hands and backs to make things happen, the story looks a lot like what we've been saying through this video. Although the numbers are not clear, there are at least 200 million people working in construction around the world, and with developing countries wanting to expand, you'd expect the number to be on the rise. Well, it isn't, and that's because technology is getting more and more efficient and affordable. Developers now need more machines and a slightly more specialized workforce to use said machines to build. As technology progresses, we can see that construction workers will follow the same path as those who used to work in the farming industry in the past. Unless you're the owner of the enterprise or one of the specialized employees who are further down the line of automation, the future doesn't seem like a welcoming place for you. That's why we wanted to make this video for you. We know most of you are young, but making
So many jobs can go off is what they are saying, but it will take time anyways, 10 to 15 years, 20 years. Now, what will be the serious challenges? How do you employ them in different areas? What will be the upcoming areas where there will be employment? And majority of the times, the upcoming areas are more technologically driven and intelligence driven, innovations driven. And you cannot be like a worker who is doing a routine job. If the job becomes routine, then a machine will be replaced. That's what basically are doing. So basically, what we need to do, learn or improve is required skills and knowledge, because we have already the attitude. Only thing is that we need to have skills and knowledge. Now, what is big data all about? Big data is a concept, and that there are many players, different architects, different vendors, different technology. There are 3 V's of big data are velocity, volume, and variety. Now that also has changed. If you recall, earlier, if I wanted data, I will go collect the data. Today, it is not so. If I want the data is available at different places across the world. I need to search in the best way possible and ask a right question to get the data. So that's where this video is. So let us.
Coming up on How Do They Do It? The $100 billion website. How does Facebook store the profiles of more than 1 in 7 people on Earth? Facebook is nothing short of a phenomenon. The world's largest social networking site, it was valued at over $100 billion and boasts over 1 billion users. But handling the profiles, photos, and messages of more than 1 in 7 people on the planet calls for technology on a simply staggering scale. So, how do they do it? Northern California, home of Facebook. Invented by Harvard students in 2004, this social networking site lets your friends know what you're doing at the click of a mouse. 8 years after this company's birth, it floated on the stock market with a value of an incredible $104 billion. You can tell it was set up by students because in here they do things a bit differently. Graffiti and touchscreen technology vie for wall space. Vending machines serve up boxes of tech instead of cans of soda. And open bars and video games entertain a staff with an average age of just 26. But this quirky environment seems to work. Their website has clicked with the world and has been growing at a rate of 100 million new users every 6 months. Handling the personal details of that many people is a massive challenge.
We have one engineer here for every 1 million users on the site. We operate at just an unprecedented scale.
There's no user guide for how this works because no website has ever handled this many visitors before. When you've got more users than there are cars in the world, one of the biggest problems is storage. The storage in your laptop could fit in your hand. Here, they need something bigger. In Prineville, Oregon, the landscape is dominated by a monster data center of 300,000 square feet. It's like having a memory chip the size of 3 football fields, and it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to build. This is where your information.
This is where all the data will be available of the of you in the Facebook. So all the data is getting upgraded, and all the data, whatever that you speak, listen, hear, see, watch, everything is recorded.
With data flying between them at the speed of light through over 21 million feet of fiber optic cable. Ken Patchett is the general manager.
When you type in facebook.com, your request goes to the open internet, and that internet lands right here. And from right here, we request from one of the Facebook servers your profile and all the information associated with it. Our data centers work and compile all that information and then send it back to you right across the open internet again. And all of that happens in milliseconds.
If you've ever wanted to visualize the internet, then these never-ending rows of servers are a fine illustration.
Some people consider the internet a cloud as if it's floating around in the sky, but it's not. It's a real physical thing. The internet is a physical building just like this, interconnected through miles and miles of fiber and cable all throughout the world. And all of these buildings can talk to each other and share data back and forth.
This place makes a supercomputer look like a pocket calculator. They've got 30 megawatts of electricity on tap, so they should never run out of power. But just like when you forget to back up work on your PC, a power failure could be disastrous. So just in case, huge diesel generators stand by as a backup, because a world without social networks would be unimaginable to millions of teenagers.
In the event we lose main power to the building, these generators kick in right away, so we've got to keep a real close eye on these guys. They generate up to 3 megawatts worth of power each, and we've got 14 of them on this site.
All this technology generates an incredible amount of heat. Without constant cooling, these servers would quickly burn out.
See, what sort of a data that you can see is whenever there is a friend request sent by people across in the Facebook, how many people accept? What percentage of requests are accepted? A, B, C, 20, 50, 80%, like that. Different questions, they pose and get the data. And all that data you can do, whenever you have a data, you can always mine. We have another concept by name known as data mining. Data mining means you are digging out the data and trying to understand what sort of decisions that you can take, looking at the data, what sort of ideas that you get from, by looking at the data. All such things you can always be continuously doing. Then, now, what is the big data all about? We discussed about big data. See, this case we will try to look at it later. With the explosion of the data, the challenge has gone to the next level, and what is map reduce, we will try to understand. Anybody who can tell what is map reduce? See, map reduce is used for asking queries and generating the reports. Say, for example, I am asking something. I am I am at Tarnaka, so I am just asking Google nearby restaurants to me. So it has given nearby restaurants, and you can see, sorry, I didn't share. I'll share. Yeah, you can see nearby restaurants. And then after that, these days, the Google is also asking you, what is your feedback? What is your feedback about that restaurant? The moment you go and come there, automatically your footprints are identified, and you will get a message. You visited Spice of India at Hapsiguda Crossroads. What is the taste? Please let us know. And it will say that we will post it in the Google. Are you okay with it? Now, for example, my private this thing I am trying to share. Yeah. I'm just asking my profile. Recently, I did see that. Did I delete? I think I deleted it. Yeah. You can see, this is my explore timeline. So where all I visited? 927 kilometers travel, cities visited, Secunderabad, Polepalli, Upperpalli, Reliance Fresh. Suppose if I click on this Reliance Fresh, it will immediately ask me, what is your feedback? How did you, feel that day? So let me just open it. Yeah. So recently, Reliance Fresh I visited. So the moment I say Reliance Fresh, so it will give me place details, Google Maps. When did I go? What did I, see? So this is how I get the data. And all this data that I am getting is going to be useful in some or the other way. Today, whatever predictions, whatever, now, basically what happens, MapReduce will reduce the things, and whenever you are querying, it will enable the query to reflect immediately and respond immediately. Okay, so that is where things will be improved. With the explosion of the data, the challenge has gone to the next level, and big data is becoming the reality. Goal of every organization and expert is same, to get maximum out of the route, and starting point are different for each organization and expected level. As organizations are evaluating and architecting big data solutions, they are also learning the ways and opportunities which are related to big data. There is not a single solution to big data as well. There is not a single vendor which can claim to know all about big data. Now that is where again, none is clear. Now data increases from megabytes to gigabytes to terabytes to petabytes. That's how things go on. As of now, you are getting 1 TB, 2 TB hard drives. Tomorrow you may get a petabyte hard drive. Where from the data volumes are increasing. Data volumes are increasing through SMS, MMS, product of service log, speech to text, text to speech, SD video, audio, images, business data feeds, external demographics, spatial and GPS coordinates, social interactions and feeds, user-generated content. Now, mainframes, traditional big data, contemporary, we have seen journey from mainframes to big data. From where to where, we have seen 3 important V's we have discussed. So let us just look at our video and go ahead. Another few minutes.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Strategic Business Insights. Today we're going to talk about big data and exactly what it is. Let's define big data for people who aren't familiar with it, okay? In other words, employees and companies are entering data into computer systems, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is not visible, sir.
Okay. Not visible. Why, I don't know. 1 second. Yeah.
But then things of
1 second, man. Trying to set the things, share.
Sure.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, whenever we click that, maybe share a screen is changing. So I need to change.
Exactly.
The internet, and now users could generate their own data. Okay, so think about websites like Facebook. Okay, so all these users are signing up and they're entering the data themselves. Okay, that's a scalable, that's larger than the first by orders of magnitude. Now we're talking about scalability here. It's scaled up from just employees entering the data to users entering their own data. Okay, so all of a sudden the amount of data being accumulated was way higher than it was historically. Well, now there's even a third level in this progression because now machines are accumulating data. Okay, the buildings in all of our cities are full of monitors that are monitoring humidity and temperature and electricity usage. There's smart meters on our homes that are measuring the amount of energy that our homes are creating. There's satellites around the earth that are monitoring the earth 24 hours a day, taking pictures, accumulating data. Well, that once machines are accumulating data, that's orders of magnitude higher than users. Okay, so there's a progression from employees generating data to users generating data to machines generating data, right? So, and we're at the machine stage. So there is colossal amounts of data being generated, okay? Now, how has that changed things? Well, back in the good old days, people used to use relational databases to process through data, okay? And we don't need to worry about what that is, but
relational data means RDBMS, database management system, and relational database management systems. Relational database management systems means hooking one DBMS with the other DBMS so that you increase the data. For example, in a company of employees, HR department will feed data for employee number. Operations department will feed something about him. The subordinates will give feedback, the superiors will give feedback, the colleagues will give feedback. All that feedback will be in the form of soft and hard form given in the Excel sheet or something like that. That will be linked to the database of such people. And then the production data and other things will come. Then market data, if there is anything, they'll come. All that, different database management systems will be linked to each other. That we call it as relationship database management system, RDBMS, DBMS and RDBMS.
But essentially, there's, again, a major shift that's taken place. In the good old days, we used to take the data and bring it to the processor, right, the CPU, the computer chip, to process the data, okay? But now there's so much data that it overwhelms the CPU, okay? It can't do the processing because there's too much data. So now what are people doing is they're bringing multiple processors and bringing it to the data. So in other words, you might have a whole row of servers, and each server has some small component of the whole data set. And you put a processor in each one individually. It's called parallel processing, okay? So now the data is being processed in a whole bunch of different places, parallel at the same time. So before, data was being brought to the processor. Now, processors are being brought to the data to process. And what is that? It's scalably larger. In the first case, you bring the data to one CPU. But now you can bring an infinite number of CPUs to an infinite number of individual servers, okay? Parallel processing, it's scalably larger. So now the data has grown scalably larger, orders of magnitude higher, and now we have a way to process which is scalably higher as well, okay? So that's the technological shift, okay? Now, let's talk about some of the technologies that are allowing this to happen, and there's two that I want to mention here. One is called Hadoop, right? What's Hadoop? Well, Hadoop is an open source platform. Open source means that it's developed under the general public license. It's developed by developers all across the world, and it's free to use. Okay, now the reality of those, like for example, Linux is open source. Some of the website building platforms, what they call content management systems, are open source, like WordPress, Drupal, and Joomla. Apache is a server software which is open source. So the fact that it's free is a little bit of an illusion, okay? Because you need experts to really understand how to use it, how to implement it, how to customize it for the specific usage that you need. But the basic infrastructure of Hadoop is open source, which means it's free, okay? And it organizes this parallel processing, okay? It's the software that allows that to happen. And the second thing is called MapReduce, which is a way of putting a summary, basically a Cliff Notes version on each server of what data that server contains. Okay, so it's a Cliff Notes, it's a summary, it's a table of contents. It's a table of contents, that's the best analogy. So there's a table of contents on each one, and all those table of contents can go onto one central server, which is essentially the search function, okay? So the search function, you can search and be like, boom, okay, the answer we're looking for is on this particular server. Okay, that's something that's being done through MapReduce and Hadoop together. They work together, okay? So those are the technologies that are driving big data. Now, who's at the cutting edge? Google. Google's at the cutting edge of so many things. Now think about how much data is being accumulated by Google, not just in the search capacity, okay, and all the websites that they're indexing, but also in all the other services that they offer, like Google Analytics, Google AdWords, Google AdSense, Google Voice, Google Talk. I mean, there's so many different services that Google provides. They're accumulating colossal amounts of data, and they know that there's a huge opportunity in that data. There are hidden wants and needs in that data that they can get into and develop algorithms providing profitable services that they can sell. Right? They're going to find ways to monetize this data, and that's not a bad thing. Right? That's not a bad thing. The bottom line is that services and business in general is going to become far more intuitive in the years to come because of data and how people are processing this data. So this is all a good thing. It's going to make our world even better and a lot more fun to be a part of. But this is a summary to give you an idea of what big data is. The data accumulation has scaled up. our ability to process the data has scaled up. And now companies like Google and many others are using these processes together to discover unbelievable insights that's hidden inside all of that data. I hope that this video has helped you understand it a little bit better, get your head around what big data is, and maybe allow you of strategic business insights. Today, we're going to talk about big data and exactly what it is. Let's define big data for people who aren't familiar with it, okay? It starts.
Okay, so, yeah, this is different.
Of strategic business insights. Today, we're going to talk about big data and exactly what it is.
Okay, so we saw what is big data, data volume, map reduce, Hadoop, terabyte, volume, velocity, variety. Now, volume is growth, and social media explosion have changed how we look at the data. There was a time when we used to believe that data of yesterday is recent. The matter of fact is now newspapers is still following that logic. However, news channels and radios have changed how fast we receive the news. Today, people reply on social media to update them with the latest happening on social media. Sometimes a few seconds old messages is not something interests users. They often discard old messages and pay attention to recent updates. The data movement is now almost real time, and the update window has reduced it to fractions of the seconds. This highlights velocity data represent big data also. Now, data variety can be stored in multiple format, Excel, CSV. CSV means comma separated value. Access, or for that matter of the fact, it can be stored in a simple text file. Sometimes the data is not even in the traditional format as we assume. It may be in the form of video, SMS, PDF, or something we might have not thought about it. It is the need of the organization to arrange it and make it meaningful, qualitative, and other things. It will be useful, easy to do so if we have data in the same format. However, it is not the case most of the time. The real world have data in many different formats, and that is a challenge we need to overcome with the big data. This variety of the data represents the big data also. Lifestyle with the changing technology, what is a bot? Use of a bot is there. So application part, I want to show you, something and ask you a few questions. So please watch this and, be ready to. I'm trying to share. Yeah, you're able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This case is about, a bank robbery in Kanpur. This is shot in 2013 and event happened somewhere in 2010-11. So how big data is used, if we are talking continuously, it will be good. You tell me whatever your ideas are, and we will try to interact and then complete the case. Okay?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So just see, there is a bank robbery happening. This is a bank. Now, did they generally have the data, or did they get the data from outside in the cloud? It is there outside in the cloud, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So the important thing that we need to ask and get the data from outside the systems is what data that I need to ask. Today, the prediction is 55% of the demand for from youngsters, either in terms of their food or their clothing, etc., is predicted by the big data. 55% accuracy we have achieved. Now, slowly, steadily, we are increasing the data content part. And once the data content part is already also increased, and with this pandemic going off, majority of the data, that is demand for the goods, either it could be clothing or apparel or shirting or wear like glasses, styles, food, everything, they are trying to predict so that their ability to forecast for the demand and prepare for the production is higher. Number one. Number two, the valuation companies can value better. Number three, the models designing innovation can happen to suit their needs. There the work is getting done, and they are trying to get the feedback from the consumers and reviews from Google and other places. Like that, different sources of information that they are taking and giving the making a judgment or decision. Now, even in the case of COVID-19, if you try to look at COVID-19 responses across the world, data is taken, across the country data is taken, across the state data is taken, and district data is taken. Accordingly, they are understanding what sort of COVID problem could be there to a patient who is afflicted, what sort of medication will help, how to improve the medical aid that we can support the poor who is afflicted with COVID. All these things we are doing on a regular basis, on a continuous basis, using big data, and that is where big data analytics come into picture, and they change the world. Now here, when we are looking at all that things, there is something which is known as artificial learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning machine. Okay, so very important thing that we need to look at is machine learning. What will machine do? How will a machine learn? So basically what happens if you are looking at BOTs, that is bots, utility of bots. Okay, this is where huge amount of applications are happening. So you have chat bots, you have audio bots, you have video bots. Basically, chat bots are engaged to look at so many things. Say, for example, your chatbot will be there when you book a gas. When you are booking a gas, it will say your consumer number is so and so. You are, you are registered with Indian Gas, or this phone number is registered with Indian Gas or HP Gas or Bharat Gas, and then there they are saying that what do you want services. So if there is a regular service like refill booking, you don't need to have a person there. Machine will take care. Then the same machine, once it takes the order, it will send information over, what you say, to the printer, and then print the receipt. So you don't need a printer. You don't need a clerk for printing. You don't need a clerk for booking the orders. You only need to have somebody after print, takes the copies, sends to the godown fellow. 3 copies will go to godown, 1 to accounts, 4 copies they print, and 3 copies they send it to godown. Godown will have 1 for inventory computations, 2 will go to customer, on which 1 customer will take, 1 they will sign and take back, saying that the it is an evidence that the cylinder is delivered, right? So when they are doing all this, basically what they are doing is they are using voice bots, chat bots. That is where things are chat bots, which we call it as automated customer chats. So if you look at SDFC Securities or SDFC, it will come ask Eva. Okay, it's an SDFC request on Eva. The moment you open the Eva SDFC, it will come on the right corner. Eva, you see, ask Eva. You are able to see?
Yes, sir.
So this is called ask Eva. So I want to ask interest rate on FDs. See? So he has given all the details. You need to see. These are called chatbots. Now the other things are audio bots are there, voice bots. So I'll tell my can you look into Google and tell me?
यहाँ हिंदी बायोग्राफी हब की जानकारी दी गई है.
Okay. Call Renubala, please.
Okay, mobile या घर.
See, this is called audio bots. These it is not a chatbot because it is responding over audio also. Okay, so whatever
Is Alexa is also audio
yes,
bot?
Yes. Voice bot. They call it as voice bot.
Okay.
So these bots will do great job, and because of that you don't require people. We are not calling them robo because there is no hardware system required in terms of a human being or a dog or something like that. Because of that, we are not calling it as a robo. It's a hardware normally embedded into some of the systems, and it will speak. And when I say Internet of Things, IoT, that means these bots are connected to internet network. That means I have a bot connected with internet in my car. I am sitting in the 18th floor of the building at 5 o'clock. So I will tell, I'll set the system. I'll tell the system that make my car air conditioned with the 24 degrees temperature. So by the time I say like that, it will automatically get switched on. And at 5:30 when I go, the temperature will be exactly 24 degrees temperature. Or say for example, I'm in Dubai. It is very sunny at 5 o'clock. I can't ride the car. So what I'll say is I want the car to be rideable position with temperatures at around 20 degrees. So it will be 20 degrees temperature that it will maintain. It will automatically AC is switched on. So that is what we are seeing now. In some of the advertisements, they are saying you can switch off your TV from your office, something like that. So all the things are Internet of Things. That means these bots or the softwares are connected with internet, and through internet you can get the things done. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So mainly what happens, this machine language is helping people to do that. Deep learning, that means you will go in deep into the subject, prepare the subject matter with questions and answers, standard questions and standard answers, and make the machine learn. So that is, machine will learn, and automatically this machine will start using its intelligence. That means we have created that intelligence. That is the reason why we call it as artificial intelligence, and machine will start responding. If machine does not understand, it will stop there. It will simply say, I don't know anything, or keep quiet. Then we have to get into. So artificial intelligence, that they are slowly, steadily improving and making equal to human being, so that human beings requirement will not be there. Wherever possible, you put a robo or a bot Okay, and then get the things done is the task that people are using. Okay. With that, I am through. I think I have covered almost everything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Nice, Varu. Okay, Andy. Right.